Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
You will solve the great mystery.
Streaming only on Peacock.
This is Robert Langdon. The suspect called him.
I teach symbology. He wants me to locate an ancient portal buried within the Capitol.
From the author of Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons.
It's your dad. The people who took him want me to find a piece of a very old puzzle.
And executive producers Ron Howard and Brian Grazer.
We have to finish this or my dad is dead.
Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. Streaming now with new episodes every Thursday. Only on Peacock.
Childhood is wanting a variety of different baked sweets and someone telling you no. Adulthood is wanting a variety of different baked sweets and being able to go right to Mickey D's to get every single one you want. Whenever you want.
Get the new glazed pull-apart donut and a 99-cent any-sized iced coffee with pumpkin spice flavor. Sweet. Prices and participation may vary. Limited time only. Iced coffee promo available until 11 a.m. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Childhood is wanting a variety of different baked sweets and someone telling you no. Adulthood is wanting a variety of different baked sweets and being able to go right to Mickey D's to get every single one you want. Whenever you want.
Get the new glazed pull-apart donut and a 99-cent any-sized iced coffee with pumpkin spice flavor. Sweet. Prices and participation may vary. Limited time only. Iced coffee promo available until 11 a.m. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Childhood is wanting a variety of different baked sweets and someone telling you no. Adulthood is wanting a variety of different baked sweets and being able to go right to Mickey D's to get every single one you want. Whenever you want.
Get the new glazed pull-apart donut and a 99-cent any-sized iced coffee with pumpkin spice flavor. Sweet. Prices and participation may vary. Limited time only. Iced coffee promo available until 11 a.m. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this brand new episode of A Walk Through the Multiverse. I'm your host, Joe, and I'm not alone today. I have got from the network and his multiple shows, he's finally second place, but finally has been on every single show on the network. Second place because I'm still number one. Yeah. We got Clay here today.
Whoa. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Number one? How can you be number one?
You just now, this is your first time on the show.
But
your show's gone.
Oh, that's such BS. That is so BS.
It's gone. If it was still here.
No.
You had number one for a while, but you're not number one anymore.
I call BS. That's messed up and
Call
wrong.
all you want. It's my show. I can easily remove
It happened
you
to me first.
Yes,
I was on everybody.
Okay, cool. Yes, you were. But when the second round came around, the next Olympics, you got the silver. Just admit it.
I guess.
How you doing, bud? How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm doing pretty well. You asked me to jump on because this new show that just hit FX and
Monday,
Hulu.
Yes.
I was really worried because there's some because it's called FX on Hulu, right?
Yes.
Is one of the bigger things that Hulu has been known for to do. And I didn't realize this. There is some shows that are on FX on Hulu that you need to pay for the extra money, like yeah.
I didn't know that either.
This fortunately is not part of that. So
because we both watched it, and
I was able to watch it. I didn't realize it until like the day I was gonna search it on Hulu, and I was like, oh no.
I didn't know they did that because I know my girlfriend Emily, she watched Dave, which is FX on Hulu, and she watched the whole season. I guess I think what we do in the shadows is also FX on Hulu, or
I guess so. I can't remember exactly what I was looking for when I found out there's some FX stuff that is like
you have to have
behind
the subscription,
the premium.
paywall.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm actually. I mean, I know.
Thankfully, it's comic book related that it's not.
Yes,
that it's
so,
not on premium.
Yay, yeah. I don't know. We're talking about Why the Last Man. If you guys haven't been able to figure that out, we will talk about that later in the show. But before we get into all of that, let's go ahead and do the network plugs. Clay, being my guest, you wanna go ahead and plug all those?
You want me to go ahead and do it? I have a lot of experience with it.
Because I'll be completely honest. It just like left my mind. I've had a busy day and I can't think of everything right now. So I'm going to push it on
good.
you.
It is all good. Of course, we are a part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. 6 shows over 7 days a week. I believe 7. I think it's 6 and 7, right?
6 days.
Let's hear. Let's count them. Monday is World's Finest True Believers and Ranger Alliance, switching periodically every other Mondays.
Every other Monday.
Yes. That is what starts off the week. And then, of course, Monday nights is DC Alliance going live on the Geekverse YouTube channel. So if you are not subscribed, please go subscribe to the Geekverse YouTube channel. Press that little bell right there, and you can get a notification every single time we go live. So there is that. DC also goes onto your podcast feeds on Tuesday. So that is 3 on
Wednesday.
Wednesday is superhero discussions. On Thursday, of course, is a walk through the multiverse and Star Wars Alliance. So that is 5. And then, of course, on Thursday nights as well is Marvel Alliance that goes live on Geekverse YouTube channel. And then the feed hits on Friday. And then on Sunday is, of course, Katie's Day for a slice of film. I think the most recent one... Oh, shoot. What was the most recent one? I can't remember. The last one I listened to actually was with Sarah.
Yeah, the Gem and the Holograms. That's the last
Gem
one.
and the Holograms was the one that I listened to.
Was that the very last one? I think it might have been.
I am looking at the feed now, and let's see here. The last one, let's see here, was Jim and the Holograms.
Okay.
Yes, that was the last one. I will say I'm pretty sure I have one coming up pretty soon.
Nice.
I was on a slice of film talking a certain movie, and I can't wait to announce it once it finally hits the feed.
Mortal Kombat 2. Gotcha.
Oh, no. Oh, by the way, I don't know. Like, I think you and Katie would have to fight over it because technically, Mortal Kombat has had some comics. So
yes,
you could technically.
So I always default to its first iteration, which was video games.
Yes,
comics came after the first movie. If I'm
that's true.
Correctly.
Okay, so well, the reason why I say that is because did you hear that Mortal Kombat or WB is starting to look into possibly solo character movies for the Mortal Kombat universe?
Yeah, I believe we shared that earlier in the week, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I did.
And that would definitely fall into our news. So yes, I'm all for it. Look, I like the Mortal Kombat movie. It was a fun time.
We have different thoughts about it, but I said in our review, I had said if this was a solo Scorpion movie, like if they did what they did in the first 7 minutes of the film for the entire film, it would have been amazing. And I feel like you can still do that with characters like Sub-Zero, like Scorpion,
Sonya,
Johnny,
and maybe yeah.
I could see one being completely about Johnny. To be completely honest, I think that would be hilarious.
I think it'd work. I would like it.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I genuinely want to love that franchise. It's just like there was just some really weird things going on with that movie, you know?
Well, and you also, like you said when we reviewed it for Slice of Film, that you're pretty sure that the kid that played Cole had the same teacher acting coach,
the same
as
acting
Jason
coach
David
as
Frank.
Jason David
Yeah.
Frank. Yes, it's same
And
mannerisms,
maybe.
same kind
I don't
of
know, who
like
knows?
what is it? Not speech impediments, but like same kind of like
Cadence.
mannerisms and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Also, along with the network, we've got a Patreon.
Yes.
So for $1, you can just say thank you, and we greatly appreciate it. For $5, you can get extra content in your feed. You'll get early access to some shows, and then obviously exclusive extra content. Myself and Travis Hines, we just recorded our reaction, a little review of the Matrix trailer. Matrix 4 trailer. I think it's in the feed now. We recorded it the other day, and I don't know when it's going to go up. But that was fun because we both realized that we have not watched, either one of us had watched any of the Matrix movies in quite a long time. So we probably butchered a ton of stuff on that.
See, I know that I've seen the first Matrix.
I've seen all three.
No, I've seen all three, but the first one I have seen within the last 10 years at least. The other
that's
two,
even better than me.
The other two.
I saw the other two in theaters. That's the last time I watched them. I'm pretty sure.
No, I've seen the other two when they hit DVD. I didn't watch them in theaters.
I'm older than you.
Well, no, I was able to go watch them in theaters, and I remember my family being interested in watching it, but I honestly don't remember us ever going to watch it in the theater.
Oh, okay.
So, for me, I fell in love with the Matrix franchise when they were doing the anime.
The one that's supposed to span
the Animatrix. That's what it was called.
Yeah, Animatrix.
Yes.
Yeah, it was supposed to span 1 and 2 or 2 and 3.
It was.
I think it was 1 and 2, wasn't it?
It was 1 and 2, and they kind of had their own multiverse thing going on to where there was some stories that kind of was in canon, but it was very fluid, I guess, in a way.
I remember the Animatrix came out, and I believe the Chronicles of Riddick Dark Fury came out around the same time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching that, and I'm like, okay, this isn't bad.
Yeah, no. And then apparently, I don't think it has been confirmed yet. I think it has, but what's his name from freaking Aquaman and Watchmen? Yeah. He is a younger Morpheus.
Yeah, we were talking about that in our Patreon content. Travis thinks, and I'm liable to agree to a point, that the Matrix, this new Matrix coming out, is the 7th world or the 7th Matrix, and Yaya is the new iteration of Morpheus for this world.
So I heard a rumor that there is a online video game. I don't know if it was for console, but there is an in-canon video game where something happens to Morpheus. So there's an in-canon reason why Yaya is playing a younger version of Morpheus.
That sounds like Emperor Palpatine announcing that he's back in Fortnite.
Oh, no, it definitely sounds like one of those, Jar Jar Binks was always the Dark Lord, you know?
I mean, he wasn't. He's over 7 foot tall. He's or 6 foot tall. He's definitely a dark sider. Anyway,
I mean, I'm excited. I will say the newer effects in the Matrix trailer.
Good, man.
It looks good, but it kind of took me out of it. You know, just because I remember Matrix Revolution. Right? That was the last one. That was 3 because it was Matrix Reloaded, and Matrix
was Reloaded too. Okay, then
okay.
Revolution.
So I remember Revolution, where basically Neo was Superman. That's what it was. He was flying everywhere. It was absolutely insane. You kind of saw the reverberating buildings and that whole effect or whatever, and you're like, okay, cool. Here you actually see the ripples of the freaking air when he is moving things with his mind and everything. We live in an age where I guess you can technically say the Matrix was part of the birth of the superhero genre.
Dude, yes. It it redefined the way that they made movies. The bullet time alone, everybody was trying to copy that. Like,
100. I think like
Lucas, it definitely built upon that.
Yeah. So like after the Matrix, you're like, okay, things are evolving.
Mhm.
And then Matrix comes back around and you're like, wait a minute. Wait. You look the same, but you look different.
Yeah.
But it's the same and it's weird. But I'm for it. I'm all for it.
I'm for it day one.
I'm probably because again, live in Texas. Very unfair for me in theaters. So for movies that I can stay home, I'm gonna stay home.
Yeah.
For movies that I can't stay home, or movies that
you can't stay home for,
yeah.
So normally I see a movie on Christmas Day. This would be ripe for my Christmas Day movie, but I also see it with my family, and there's something else coming out. I think maybe Sing 2 is coming out around Christmas. So I think I might take my family, like not just my immediate family here in this house, but my family, like my brothers and sisters and my dad, a good family movie that I know everybody will enjoy. This will not be one I know everybody will enjoy. I will enjoy it.
Yeah.
My girlfriend will enjoy it. My kids won't. So I'll definitely...
And also, looking back at
I'll
that
definitely
trailer,
watch this one at home. So
looking back at that Matrix trailer, the very first like minute, or not even minute, like the first 15 seconds, you cannot tell me that is not a Batman trailer. Freaking Neil Patrick Harris, psychiatrist, aka the Riddler, talking to somebody who could very well be playing Batman.
Could be.
And you're like, holy crap. The green logos start to spin and everything. I'm like, this is a fucking Batman trailer. And then you see Matrix. It's like, oh my God.
Even better. All right. Now that we're got through the Matrix hole there, let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of this news. Have you ever read Grendel from Dark Horse?
I have not. It is on... It is just like the show we're going to be talking about. Because spoilers, I have not read that book either. It is... There is a lot of comic books, people. A lot out there, out in the universe. And I will tell you, there is a specific list of books that are like, hey, I've heard of that book before.
Mm-hmm.
Grendel and Why the Last Man are two books that I've always heard about. I've always said, hey, if you want to jump into something that is not DC or Marvel, these are the books that you should be reading. Now, technically, Why the Last Man is Vertigo, but it was something more than just your average superhero comic.
Yeah, which is what Vertigo has always, almost always been. Because they had Swamp Thing, which
and Hellblazer,
and Hellblazer, and they're superhero adjacent.
Yes,
because they which Ron and I have been covering in Comic Book Rundown. With Swamp Thing, Constantine's in there, Batman's shown up. I mean those runs we're reading crossed over into Crisis. So like I said, superhero adjacent. But I'm right there with you. Grendel was one that I have known about for years, but never read, never picked up. It looks beautiful. The artwork on it is beautiful. I've never had, I'm not going to say never had any interest. It was just never on the top of my list. It's on the list somewhere, never on the top. So what we're talking about is that Netflix has ordered a Grendel series, based on the comic. This is fresh news, came out yesterday or Tuesday. So we won't be even seeing anything until mid to late 2022 because they've cast the main actor, Abarkar Ali, Abubakar Ali. I butchered his name. I apologize. He's gonna be the star, which I'm assuming he'll be Grendel, but they've also cast 8 more people, so they have their cast. They have it's gonna be 8 episodes for Netflix. So I mean, it's Netflix. It's gonna be a dump on everything immediately because that's what Netflix does. I'm looking forward to it, which this just prompts me. One, I'm looking forward to for the show for this show, Walk Through the Multiverse, but also I'm looking forward to because now this gives me a deadline to read the comic before the episodes come out.
Yeah,
which is something similar I did with Y, The Last Man, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. So does this news excite you at all? Like, are you going to check out the show and or check out the comic because of this?
Yeah, every single property that is comic book, I always attempt, whether it be the first episode, whether it be the first issue, I always try it out because that is just who I am. That is, it is within the compass of what we all talk about, right?
Yes.
It is always going to be on our radar. And honestly, if one thing succeeds that is outside of superhero comics, it means more are welcome to come into fruition.
And
so
we've been seeing a lot of not DC and Marvel starting to pick up. The Boys, Invincible, Walking Dead. We're on the final season 11. Like, and most of them have been TV shows. They've been able to ripe enough content to extend it to a TV show. But then you do have your movies like The Old Guard, Kick-Ass. That got 2 movies. The Kingsman, which was 1 comic, and that got 3 movies. So I'm right there with you. The fact that we are getting properties that are not the main superhero titles, and we keep getting more and more and more.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
Who was it that wrote Why the Last Man? That
was Brian K. Vaughan.
Brian K. Vaughan. Okay,
and he's a good writer. He's a prolific writer.
Yes. So there is another famous series that he has created at Image. Help me out. I can't think of the title. It has
dude,
TV as a freaking head and Saga. That's it. Okay, so I'm waiting for the announcement of Saga. There has to be something.
I thought there was.
I feel like there was, but I do know that recently, I can't remember if it was Netflix or if it was WB. I am pretty sure Brian K. Vaughan did some sort of contract deal with a studio. And I think it was Ava DuVernay was like, oh, this is one step closer to Saga coming to the big screen. And I was like, that would be amazing.
The only issue I have with that, because Saga is not finished. They're taking a break.
I know they took a break back in 2018, 2017.
I thought it was 2019.
Was it 19? Really? It was while I was working at the comic book shop near here in town. So it was I worked there from 2017 to the end of 2018. So 2 years.
Okay, then 18. Then it had to have been 18.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's, I'm not gonna say he's notorious for doing that, but he does that. I think there were mini breaks before this big break. And I don't know when it's supposed to come back. But that's another one where I have not read it yet, but I've heard nothing but great things, and I do plan on reading it. I want to read it. There's I believe over on what's the website what's the website that Chris has got a sponsorship for?
Organic Price Books.
Yes, I think JP over there, Organic Price Books, has got he just got the listing for a nice 9-volume collection.
Yeah,
in a slipcase, and I'm like, I'm really looking at that
now. I don't own it. I've read volume 1 because it was part of my when I first worked at the comic book shop here in my hometown. they were like, hey, what are you like more efficient in? And I was like, oh, I know a whole lot about DC. I know a little bit about Marvel. Don't really know about anything else. And they're like, okay, here are like 25 titles. Here's the first volume of all of them.
Ooh.
Do your homework. And I was like,
dude,
okay.
That's my wet dream.
And as long as I like signed, it was like having a library. I signed them out and then brought them back. And Saga was one of them. And I was like, holy shit, this is pretty cool. So on Comixology, I do know that they have like 2 compendiums worth. So I have that on my wish list. And it's just like one of those like, hey, I'm going to get to you eventually. I know I will. Because recently on Comixology, I just threw down a lot of money on those collections for TMNT. So kind of need to settle down on some stuff recently.
Did you not get them when they were like half off? Or
I did.
Okay.
I did. But all of it all at once while they were all half off is still
fair. It's still like $60 or $70 or something like that. It was still up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Saga actually has 54 issues currently, and you're right, it went on hiatus in July of 2018. So we're going on 3 years right now.
Yep.
And the story
still nothing.
Look, it's he's working on it.
He's a busy guy. He's a busy guy. I know that he does a lot of like random miniseries. He did one. It was really, really odd because like I was like, okay, Brian K. Vaughan, he's kind of like he's an oddball whenever it comes to some of his original content. So I was like, okay, let me try this new one. And I can't remember the title of it, but it was a sideways book. It wasn't your regular like up and down like turning the page.
Yeah.
It like was sideways. Technically, it was long ways.
Yeah. The only one I'm thinking of is an Action Comics that did that with
no, like this one was like
oh shit, what was
it was about this like farmer that was abducted by aliens, and there was like a crap ton of nudity. People got probed, and like it was
fun. Sounds like a great Saturday night.
But it was also like an underlining story about racism, and it was like this is like weird. Like okay, I understand the concept, but to get there was really weird.
Gotcha. Very okay. Our other piece of news that we have, and I'm pretty sure we'll just touch on this one really quick. Universal Studios is looking to reboot Sam Raimi's Darkman. There was 3 Darkman movies, I believe.
Yes.
I only remember ever seeing the first one.
I have only seen the first one. I have not seen the other 2. It's a very odd thing out of everybody to like. I understand like there's this concept of like, oh, there's nothing original out. People are still just doing reboots, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for like a not so dark Spirit reboot. Like, because.
So I never watched the last one.
The one with Samuel Jackson?
Yeah, I heard it was bad.
It was not great.
I mean, I'll be watching it for rundown reviews over on my other podcast eventually. But
if nobody has picked that one, I want to be on it. Because
it's going to be a while.
Samuel Jackson, freaking Scarlett Johansson. There was a guy from the TNT show Suits or USA. I think it was USA.
I think Suits was USA, yeah.
Yeah. But like there's so much out there that you could reboot, and they decide to go for Darkman. I don't know why.
I'm thinking they're working their way through like early 90s because a few weeks back we got the announcement that they're rebooting, sequel, but kind of a reboot, The Rocketeer. So,
and that was Universal. Well, that was Disney.
That's Disney. But what I'm saying is,
like in general,
they're looking at what the late 80s, early 90s stuff is working around and bringing that stuff back around.
That would make sense because I feel like the 90s was a good like way of like storytelling where they're like, hey, let's because we always use the phrase, oh, this movie was ahead of its time, right?
Yes.
And I feel like there's a lot of movies in the 90s that were a little ahead of its time, but because of that, the technology just wasn't there to make it look great.
Yeah.
And
Darkman's one of those.
Darkman is definitely one of those.
Dude,
Another one of those that I still want to see that I haven't seen is Invisible Man. Like,
we had that with Kevin Bacon.
the newer one. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, they rebooted that one.
I still haven't watched that one yet. Was that pretty good?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard great things about it. And it was like a psychological thriller and like all of this stuff. And I'm like, okay, like that sounds great. And again, that's one of those movies. It's like, oh, we have this technology to make it look like people are invisible. Now in 2021, that's a piece of cake. So you do that on top of your themes and great storytelling. I can kind of see why, like, let's face it, guys, Darkman is quite possibly going to be like the first step towards a Clayface in DC.
Yeah.
Probably.
I want a Clayface in the back.
I want a Clayface so bad. But like, again,
Clayface and Mad Hatter. That's what I want.
That's the
combo I want.
This is not DC Alliance, but like the one thing that I always complain about over at DC and Marvel is like, you can't be afraid to do comic booky shit with a comic book movie.
Right. Yes.
Like, you're making a comic book movie. Like, I think it was the special effects person over at The Flash. They're like, oh, this isn't a superhero movie. It's just a movie that just happens to have superheroes in it. And I'm like, that's a freaking superhero movie. Like, stop beating around the bush. It's okay to say superhero movie. They're making you billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and then so what the Avengers, like all the Infinity Saga, the Avengers, stuff like that, Justice League, everything attached to those are superhero movies. Movies like Men in Black. I'm looking at my wall over here to try and figure out Transformers, stuff like that. Darkman, those are comic book movies.
Yes.
Like, there is a difference. But some people just don't want to actually admit that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went a lot longer than I expected. So we are going to go ahead and take our first ad break. We did not control the ads, and these help just help our network. You know, if you guys don't want ads, go give us some money over at Patreon. So simple as that. Okay, we will be right back.
You might like absolute silence or lo-fi beats. Maybe you stand, sit, or relocate every hour. You might want fresh coffee always within reach, or a game nearby for those quick breaks. Whatever your work style, you deserve a setup that inspires. And Best Buy tech experts can help you online, in-store, or at home so you can find what's right for you. Work for you space achieved. Details at bestbuy.com.
Welcome. We're here with Jess, who is enjoying a cozy night in.
That's right, and she's lighting up... Is that candle?
Triple wick pumpkin spiced? Yes.
Oh, she is setting the harvest mood.
Is that a tasteful autumnal wreath?
Someone's been to Marshall's again.
Well, with quality home decor at great prices, what's stopping her? Oh, and a cozy blanket to top it all off.
That is so fall. Better get to Marshall's.
Fabulous brands.
Feel good prices at Marshall's.
You did it. You woke up today. You even got out of bed. You deserve a reward. We can't all be morning people, but we can all get McDonald's for breakfast.
Right now, mix and match a Chicken McGriddles or a McChicken biscuit for just $3. Order ahead on the Mickey D's app. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal. Single item at regular price. Mobile order and pay at participating McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You did it. You woke up today. You even got out of bed. You deserve a reward. We can't all be morning people, but we can all get McDonald's for breakfast.
Right now, mix and match a Chicken McGriddles or a McChicken biscuit for just $3. Order ahead on the Mickey D's app. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal. Single item at regular price. Mobile order and pay at participating McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You will solve the great mystery.
Streaming only on Peacock.
This is Robert Langdon. The suspect called him.
I teach symbology. He wants me to locate an ancient portal buried within the Capitol.
From the author of the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons.
It's your dad. The people who took him want me to find a piece of a very old puzzle.
And executive producers Ron Howard and Brian Grazer.
We have to finish this, or my dad is dead.
Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. Streaming now with new episodes every Thursday. Only on Peacock.
Life gets a lot more magical when you dream. So let's dream of a vacation unlike any other. A magical Disney cruise.
Hiya, pal!
Where new stories meet tales as old as time.
Enchanté, mon ami!
And your family will be cared for the moment you step aboard. Sail from Florida to Disney's private island paradise and get ready for a dream come true with Disney Cruise Line.
This is Robert Langdon.
I teach symbology.
The suspect called him.
From the author of the Da Vinci Code.
He wants me to locate an ancient portal.
We have to finish this, or my dad is dead.
Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. Streaming now with new episodes every Thursday. Only on Peacock.
You will solve the great mystery.
Streaming only on Peacock.
This is Robert Langdon. The suspect called him.
I teach symbology. He wants me to locate an ancient portal buried within the Capitol.
From the author of the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons.
It's your dad. The people who took him want me to find a piece of a very old puzzle.
And executive producers Ron Howard and Brian Grazer.
We have to finish this, or my dad is dead.
Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. Streaming now with new episodes every Thursday. Only on Peacock.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
And we are back. All right, so let's go ahead and go into this thing that I am stupid excited about. And that would be the Lock and Key Season 2 teaser. Clay, you have only read the first volume.
I've only read the first volume of Lock and Key, and I have not watched the season 1 of Lock and Key. Now,
you listened to... You said you listened to Comic Book Rundown's Season 1 breakdown.
I listened to all of that breakdown.
You've also listened to our coverage of Lock and Key. Correct?
I've listened to you talk about Lock and Key more than I feel like, okay, so you and Ron talked about Lock and Key, the comic,
yes,
all the way up until the end of volume 2, I think.
No, volume 3. We are about ready to record volume 4.
Okay, so I've listened to all of that.
We've done it every October for the since the show started.
So I've listened to all of that. I've listened to you talk about it at World's Finest True Believers.
Yep, 3 times.
3 times.
I like I like Lock and Key.
It's my thing. You convinced me to finally try it out, because before I even knew what Lock and Key was, I would see those advertisements at the back of comics where it had, what's his name? The Brain, and it was like
Bodhi. And
Bodhi's
dissection of his brain, yeah.
The dissection of the brain. It was the advertisement for Lock and Key. I remember seeing that advertisement on every single book that I had picked up at the comic shop, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. Maybe it's something to do, like, you remember back in the 80s where it had like the got milk, hey, don't do drugs, and I thought it was just one of those things, because his freaking brain was different colors. And I was just like, oh, this is probably talking about something with drugs, whatever. Close the book. I'm done. Like, that's what I thought back in the day. And then
something to do with drugs.
And then when I hear you talking about this book, I was like, okay, Joe won't shut the fuck about, like, he won't shut up about this book. I got to know what this is about. I read that first volume, and my God, when what's her name comes out of the freaking well, I was like,
yeah, Dodge. Yeah, man.
Holy, like it. So, like horror in comics, you would think, oh, because you have peripheral vision, like you're going to see things on the next page. You're going to see around the panels. Like nothing should be able to scare you. Holy crap, dude. Like Lock and Key actually like got my heart racing. And I was like, okay, this is something I need to look into. Now, I have been seeing a lot of like Lock and Key compendiums or like the omnibuses and stuff. And I'm just like, I should stop buying the individual volumes and just buy one of these big things. So I'm forced to read it all.
Well, yes. First off, yes. Second off, I would recommend, if you're going to go that route, I would recommend the Master Edition. Yep.
I see it right behind you. I see it right. Yeah, I see it. Don't move your entire couch to get it.
It's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, it's the Master Editions. They are.
They look
great. There's 2 trades in one, one giant hardcover. And they don't have a ton of extras. That's why I've told Chris already has the volumes 1 through 6. And so he's been updating his stuff.
Chris is an aficionado that only updates things that really have like, if you're going to buy something extra, it's for the extra content, right?
Yes.
And I totally agree with him. I never really thought about it that way, but
Dude,
if you're going to,
I'm kind of going that route.
Yeah. If you're going to buy something, like you need to be able to make it like worth your while. Like you're going to have to sell yourself on like, okay, is this worth this much money? And if a book doesn't have extras, if I don't learn anything more than just what is like contained inside the comic, I don't know if it's worth it, you know?
Well,
and so when you get stuff like that, it's totally understandable.
Yeah. The extras that are in these are the same extras that are in the trades.
Okay.
Which are also the same extras that are in the compendium. I've got all of them. I'm not gonna lie. Lock and Key is my like baby.
It's your franchise that you love and adore.
This is
I am the exact
one of the
same
first
way.
Ones that I read outside of DC that I'm like, holy shit, there's other comics. Like I knew there was other comics, but like it opened up my eyes so much to other comics.
See, okay, so Lock and Key for you is Power Rangers for me.
Okay.
Like I have all the single issues, whether it be physical or digital.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working towards the trades. I just bought the freaking
you got the
collectors,
the collection,
the year ones and whatever from you.
Yep.
Like I'm waiting
and that's because I upgraded to the Kickstarter one. With
and I'm just waiting for the omnibus for Higgins's run. Like I'm waiting for it. That's gonna be amazing.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this trailer. All right, no, I forgot to hit the wrong thing. Sorry. Look, I'm still working on StreamYard here. Give me a break. All right, so we started out here. Like I said, you haven't seen the first season. This will be a bit of a shocker. This is actually kind of a spoiler, mainly because it is the end of the big reveal at the end of the first season, which is this character Gabe is actually the character Dodge, who's the big bad. Now, Gabe, you don't realize that because he pops up in like episode 2 or 3 of the show, and he's just like a background character for a little while until he gets like full on dating Kinsey, the girl of the show. That one right there. And then the reveal, like that shocked me. I didn't put that together until that scene. And it's awesome.
See, and I have a list of things that I need to watch, but I recently have kind of been sporadic about it. I feel like Lock and Key needs to be moved up a little bit more on my list.
Especially, so you have a month, because this is coming out October 22nd.
Okay.
And I will say, I told you this offline, and I was going to say it in here anyway. If you don't want to be spoiled, like if you don't want the books to spoil you, the show to spoil what the books will be, at this point, the books in the show are starting to become their own thing, which I love.
Yes.
Especially since out of this tease, this minute-long teaser we get, you're diving into, I would say, a little bit of probably like book 3, book 4, and then maybe even no, it won't be book 6. But then you're also diving into the Small World one-shot that came out a couple years back, and I'll point that out when we get to that point. But like this part right here, we see Kinsey just walking on water, which is like, okay, thank you, God. Until you see her walk through that little carousel, or not the carousel, the
revolving door.
Yeah. And then you see her on the bed. Like, this is what we're seeing here is part of, okay, so the key she turns right there, that's the head key.
Okay, yeah.
When you have the head key and you basically open up your head, you're supposed to see inside, and it's supposed to be this like different world. It's just the inside of your brain. What the show has done is made it, there's a doorway that you go through to get into your brain. And it's basically you taking people with you along, I guess, in your brain. Like, you're kind of directing everything. Originally in the season 1, when she walked into her brain, it was like a shopping mall. So then there was like stores everywhere. The fact that she now has like a lake in her brain is interesting, and maybe like her evolving with the events that happened in the first season. Her head is changing. I don't know, like her mental gymnastics, or not gymnastics, mental building is different. That's my assumption.
Yeah.
We then get this carnival and this hedge maze. No idea what. I'm assuming that's just going to be something that's happening in the town. Because I'm also assuming that it goes forward a couple months. Like we're a few months in the future from the end of season 1. Only because, the actor that plays Bodhi is a child actor. You're gonna want to keep him around the same age as much as possible.
Yeah.
So you're gonna try to get these as quick as possible. Film them up as much as you can.
Now, I know that some shows do it, but did Lock and Key greenlight more than one season, or did they only greenlight season 2?
They greenlit season 2. They were getting ready to start film, and then COVID happened.
Okay.
So, ouch. Before they finished filming season 2, they have already greenlit season 3. So I think they actually are currently in the middle of filming season 3. I don't know if it's going to go past 3 seasons. In all honesty, I think 3 seasons with the material they're giving us, I think 3 seasons is probably going to be fine. If they go past 3 seasons, awesome. But I'll be happy with 3 seasons. But yeah, you're correct, because some don't. I mean, the Invincible, when season 2 got greenlit, season 3 got greenlit. The Boys, I think they greenlit a spinoff and then greenlit season 3. So I feel like the streaming services are, if the show's popular enough, they are wanting more seasons quicker.
Yeah.
We get more instances of the ghost door. You see that in season 3. No idea what's going on with that kid being duct taped. And this scene right here is what I was referring to with Small World. There's a key in that one shot where how did it play out? You unlock this dollhouse, and if you can pull dolls out of the dollhouse and then they become bigger size. Is that right? Like,
That's terrifying.
All I remember is the spider walking through the door of the dollhouse, and because the dollhouse itself was a replica of the key house. So the spider walks into the dollhouse and then manifests in the key house. So it's in the dollhouse, normal size. It's in the key house, giant size.
Yeah, no.
Yep,
no.
Yep, yes.
No.
Yes. That character right there is Eden, along with Gabe. Spoiler alert, at the end of season 1, she gets hit with the Whispering Iron, which basically turns you into a demon. Just go with it.
Okay.
I'm trying to not give you as much spoilers as I can for season 1. So you can actually.
The greatest thing about me, Joe,
you'll forget,
is I'd say this on every show that I'm on. I am consuming content 100% of the time, which means my brain capacity is full 100% of the time, which means if one piece of information goes into my brain, that means another piece of information has to leave. Eventually, I will forget this trailer, and I will forget everything you say about season 1, and I'm going to watch season 1, and it'll be like I have never heard anything about the show.
That works. That's fine. No idea what this house is. It's on the ledge, but it's breaking apart. This is some new content, and like I said, majority of what they're showing in this teaser is new content. Like it's not in the books, and like Eden wasn't in the book, in the comic, so her being an accomplice to Gabe or Dodge is all new territory for me, which I really love. I really like that.
You say you really like that, and you enjoy the fact that these are becoming two different things.
Yes.
So there is a argument, and trust me, I know full and well I have my issues and okays with the idea of like different interpretations of characters or different interpretations of an idea of a character, right?
Okay.
So with Lock and Key, does it need to necessarily still have some connection to the comic book moving forward, or can season 3 be like its own original story, but just keep the idea and concept of what Lock and Key was about, and you would still be okay with it?
For me, yes. There are a few scenes I would love to see play out.
Mm-hmm.
Scenes directly from the comic that I would love to see play out. With the story we're getting, I don't see that happening. There's a scene in particular in the second volume. Yes, in Head Games, Volume 2, where we see this the Locke kids, their dad, when he's in high school with his friends and then friend Dodge, who was a friend back then. We see that scene play out where they are in this play, and they're using the keys to make this play just beautifully done. I know that scene's never going to happen in the show, but that is a scene I would love to have seen play out. That being said, though, it's not going to ruin, because they are not doing anything like everything completely like the comics. Guess what? I've got the comics to go back to. The comics are basically the beginning, the be all end all of, hey, this is the material that you can pick and choose what you want from,
Mm-hmm.
and use, you like this certain scene, we're going to put that in the show, but it's going to flow better if we have this leading up to it and then this coming from it. And I'm fine with that, because it's new material and new new things that I can enjoy.
Yeah.
And I still have the comic to go back to. I read this series once a year. This is my series I read all the time. And every time I read it, I always find something new.
Now, has the series Lock and Key like ended, or is it still going?
So the original 37 issues has ended. Like it was 6 volumes with like 2 one-shots when volume 6 ended.
Mhm.
We have since had a couple more one-shots come out, and then we had a miniseries, and now we're going to get a new 6-volume limited series coming out. So
Okay.
it originally was going to be 6 volumes. That's it. But it's becoming stupid popular. I hope it doesn't ruin the original series. I don't think it will. But
Well,
I don't know.
I do know that, like, I can't remember exactly the title. It was the Sandman universe is doing a tie-in,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I knew that DC had some sort of like crossover with it, and that's more so because Joe Hill has recently, in the last few years, done some like
He's
indie
signed a deal with he signed a deal with DC where he has got his own basically imprint over at DC called Hill House Comics.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's basically Vertigo. What Vertigo was. They're their own little mini like 6 to 7 issue stories. They came out last year, late 2019, early to mid 2020. They actually have a sequel starting up for one of the titles coming out in October, called Refrigerator Full of Heads. Like I would love to see more come out of Hill House Comics.
Yeah.
So I've liked everything that he wrote 2 of the 5 titles, and then he had a couple other people, other people write the other titles, and this new one coming out, it's another person writing this title. So he's getting other writers and other artists opportunities.
And how is Joe Hill connect to the show? Is he writing for them? Is he just an executive producer?
I think he's a producer. I know he shows up. Him and Gabriel Rodriguez, the artist, they have a little cameo in the very last episode of season 1.
Nice.
They're the EMTs that show up with the ambulance. So when you do watch the show, look out for them.
Okay.
So I expect them to show up at some point in season 2. But yeah, as far as I know, they are executive producers. They may have a hand in like some of the writing process, but I don't think they're writing scripts or anything. So
nice.
There's that. All right, so let's we've already gone this long. We still haven't touched on why. So let's finish up this trailer. I forget every time we talk. We talk.
We like. There's a reason why Ranger Alliance is usually 2 hours long when Joe is my co-host.
Man, and then we got so much going on the next episode. I still have to watch the episodes. I haven't done that yet.
Neither have I.
That'll be a Friday thing, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Saturday morning thing. I don't know. No, because I got. Anyway, more with this trailer. We got the cast looking all crazy, something's happening. We got Jordan there. Jordan, who is a friend of the Locke kids. We see Bodhi grabbing a sword off the wall, which I watched one little teaser say apparently Georgia really likes to lose his arm because Bodhi is the kid who played Georgie in It.
Oh no!
So he's really trying to lose his arm here. Yeah, so we get them like this 5 seconds of scene here is just everybody looking like what the hell's going on. And then the big reveal here, we get Gabe making a new key. I have no idea what key this is. Like this is literally a brand new key. And
See,
it
that's
looks
pretty
like a dragon.
cool. That's pretty cool. Like, because from the discussions that you've had on Comic Book Rundown, World's Finest True Believers, and everything, talking about these keys, like to know, like, because for one, what they need to do, and I'm pretty sure they have done this. I'm pretty sure you have them. I'm sure of it. They've made replicas of these keys.
I do not have the keys. I don't have the keys because I know if I do, if I get one, I'm gonna want them all, and that is expensive as hell.
I know that would be so cool though. Like,
no, it'd be
you
great.
could literally make a collection of these things.
Yes, I know.
And just
There's
to
a ton
know,
of keys.
and just to know that, like, because even in my first reading of volume 1, like they go about it a little bit about how like there are probably, because I think 2 keys are featured in volume 1.
Yes,
it's the first key that Bodhi finds, which is where he like gets out of his body, basically.
Yeah, the ghost key. Yep,
the ghost key, and then there's another one that is seen, but I don't think anything happens to it. I'll have to go back and read.
We've got the was the well house key shown? No, that's not until second or third book. The head game, not head game, the head key is shown at the very end of volume 1.
Yeah.
But
okay.
The anywhere key is also part of volume 1.
Yeah. So you start to realize like, oh, what do these keys do? What do like is there a key for everything and possibility? And
practically
like,
yes.
And for you to like, I think that is the ultimate tease. Is like, ooh, a brand new key.
Yep.
And especially for somebody who is reading these comics, you can easily look at a key and be like, that is that key.
Yes.
But for them to make a key and you're like, I don't know that key. Why do I not know that key? Like, that should get people super excited about watching the season.
And that's why I like the show, because yes, we've got in the comics that we have had released, we have got probably 20 keys that they maybe 30 keys that they play with in the entire 50 plus issues that have been released. 40 some plus issues that have been released. So we're going to be getting more keys in the new books, but we're seeing a bunch of new ones here first. In season 1, we got the matchstick key, which is literally just, it's a match. Like you take the key, you touch something that's flammable. Well, you touch anything, it lights on fire.
Nice.
That's all it is. What it does. It's awesome. So this key, like I said, it looks like a dragon's face almost, or a skull. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I love it. So yeah, that's Lock and Key. Let's continue on. I know we're going a little bit long here, but let's continue on talking about Why the Last Man.
You want to jump to an ad break right before we do it, though?
No, because I don't want to have 4 ad breaks in this thing.
Okay.
I'm already going to have 3. I don't need any more. I think we can do this in like 20 minutes, right?
I think so. Like I have it rolling here on my side screen.
So we both only watched the first episode. I specifically asked you only to watch the first episode because I only wanted to cover the first episode. I plan on, when the season ends, maybe doing like a quick retrospective of the whole entire season.
Okay.
But I just want to do, I think I'm going to start just doing the pilots of each new show first. If I'm really liking the show, I will bring it up maybe every episode. But as of right now,
there's a lot of content out there.
Yes,
and
especially for the show.
And it can be a little overwhelming. I can totally understand why you're not doing every show. Exactly.
Because I was going to talk about The Walking Dead, like the next 2 episodes. I didn't get a chance to watch those this week. So here we are. But Why the Last Man? You said this is a book you had not read yet.
No, I have not.
I literally just read the first volume last week.
Nice.
So I've read 5 issues, maybe 6 issues. I can't remember how long the first volume is. So this first episode is very similar to the first issue.
Really?
It's almost No, I can't say it's beat for beat. But like the first opening pages of the book starts out with this lady EMT walking out, this other lady coming up to her being like, I need help, I can't, my
okay,
whatever
so that's exactly like
very similar to what this had, where you see Yorick
Mhm.
out in the middle of a street with nobody.
Yeah.
But yeah, this EMT walks out, she's like, I can't, they're all dead, and she pulls out a gun and shoots herself. That's how the book starts.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we jump back. In the show, it jumps back 3 weeks. I think in the book, it jumps back like 5 days. I can't remember exactly.
Is it 3 weeks that it
said 3 weeks?
Okay.
Because it said 3 weeks earlier, which, it tracks, because I think it was like maybe 2 days, maybe the day it happened.
No, so I'm
You're
watching it now.
Yes.
It says the day before.
Okay.
So it's 1 day.
No,
Yes, it's the day before.
They say 3 weeks earlier at one point. I know they do.
Nope.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm not saying you're right either.
Because the way the story beats go, it makes sense.
That's 1 day?
Yeah. So the way it goes is that I am sorry for my dog just like deciding to attack something. I don't know what's going on.
On the Patreon, I had my dryer yelling at me, screeching at me. So I get
nice. So it says the day before, and like you see Yorick, he is a magician,
Yes.
illusionist, whatever you want to call him.
Magician.
He's a magician. Not a great one, but he's a magician. And he's like basically training this kid. And
oh shit, this day before. Damn.
Yeah, it's 1 day. And
I guess I will concede you are correct.
So like I actually got Abby to watch this with me.
Okay.
I was like, hey, do you want to watch this new show? And she's like, yeah, sure. What's it about? And I said, every man in the world dies and women take over the world. And she's like, okay. I mean, it's a little misleading, but not by much,
Yeah.
Because that's basically like the way that I have always heard this story, because of course it was a comic book before, was that every male on Earth dies except for one.
Yes.
And then everything that men were doing throughout the world, of course, women need to pick up the slack if there is going to be some sort of normalcy throughout the world. Like, this is almost like The Walking Dead. You're surviving, but you're also wanting to move forward with society, right? The Walking Dead is a little different because of the constant in the virus, like killing
it's in everybody.
Individuals.
So even if you die because you starved to death, well, you're gonna come back as a zombie.
Exactly. And here there's just no men.
Yes.
Right. And I will be completely honest, this was very interesting in the sense of like, I know the concept. So for me, it was like, when's it gonna